So I recently refurbished this. I put all new feathers on it and new piece of leather here. This catches the wind and knocks around these, makes more noise the more wind there is. This, I take that as north to south longitude line, and this is somewhat diagonal to it, which would not be the equator. That would be the zodiac that goes up and down as the cycles of the year go round. It's woven together by the web of life, and these little beads look like spiders making the web. This is a chicken feather that I just put there. I kind of like the stripes of it. Over here is a red one, maybe a robin's belly, but it's more colorful than the crow's. And then over here I've got a couple of crow feathers and some from the striped turkeys. But as the wind blows, because one of the four corners is broken away, it turns like a windsock. The faster the wind is, the steeper the angle of these, and the more noise it's going to make. It's a kind of interesting device. And then this here, this is in my grape tree, and it's half of a yin-yang sign. Yin and yang is positive and negative, or masculine and feminine, or physical and spiritual, or anything that's opposites. Sun, moon, day, night. This is the physical, which implies the spiritual. What is, therefore, that implies the spiritual. This Japanese lantern is somehow associated with the 7 chakra system. Here we have the root chakra, rooting to the ground, fixed. And then we have the navel chakra coming up to, this is the solar plexus that moves around to give direction to movement. And then we have the heart is the radiant light in the middle of the heart. And this is the speech of the vocal cords expressing out into the world. And then we have the third eye as a lotus opening, and the root of the head, crown chakra, pulling energy up and pulling energy down like a straw through the stance. So each of the levels in this describes one of the 7 chakras. What are the 7 chakras? These are characters that are not meant to be spoken. They're pictures of feelings, of energy. So here we have the halo and the dot at the top of the head that reaches up to the sky. I call it the puppet string, a vertical feeling. Here's the shoulders, the spine. Here's the hips, the iliac crest of the hips, and the sacrum as you're sitting. So that's the root chakra. And then this is the belly, behind the belly button, the center of mass where you would shift from in any direction that your weight goes. That's the center of your weight. This is the shoulders, and here's the digestive system. Something goes in and sits in the stomach and then goes out through the intestines and is excreted. This is the breath. Here's the belly, the diaphragm going down and up through the throat, down and up through the throat. This is the heart chakra. And then this is the throat chakra. We have wind coming up into the vocal cords and expressing. This is the third eye in the brow of the head when the frontal lobe of the brain opens, with a halo sensation, and the dot is the puppet string. This is the symbol Om, which is said to be the sound of the universe in motion as the planets go through the ether, the prana, the force, whatever you want to call it, in space-time matrix and quantum web of life. There is this vibration of energy. This is describing the third eye opening and pulling from the base of the brain through the back of the brain into the third eye, and then the halo, and then the puppet string lifting up. Now, what do I mean by a puppet string lifting up? That kind of a sensation. There's a rooting, and there's a puppet string. And this is kind of the thought of what I'm saying. There's a compressing into the line and pulling it down and then radiating up. Or a inhale sucks it all here and kind of rings like a bell. But there's a relationship between the hip and the head and between the heart and the head. And this is called internal alchemy. I was gifted this lantern from the Shinto shrine when they closed, and I also got a couple of these little frogs. I remember asking, why are there frogs here? There were a lot of frogs, and I was told that this represents different phases in life. They start out as a tadpole, swimming around kind of like a fish, and then they grow legs and become a frog and hop out from one environment of the water into a totally different environment of the earth and air. And so this has symbolism of a person's progress as they change in life from one state of being to a different state of being. I was given this. It says AiKi, as in Aikido, the martial art. But Ai is a triangle fitting a square. And it's the roof and it's the walls that make up a building. But a triangle is not the same shape as a square, yet when you fit them together, one doesn't serve the purpose without the other. Walls without a roof is useless. A roof without walls is useless. It's together that the triangle and the square make harmony, which is I is harmony, or to fit things that are different. Ki is the subtle energy of the universe, and the mark is that this and that is water. This is a waterfall going. This is the movement of a waterfall, and it's over a bowl of rice. The idea is steam rising off the rice is a mystery to somebody who hasn't personally experienced it yet. For example, if somebody was to be hearing a description of what is steam, they've never seen it or experienced it, they would ask, well, what shape is it? Well, it doesn't have a shape. It takes the shape of what's around it. Well, what color is it? Well, it doesn't have a color. It takes the color of what's around it. Well, what does it feel like? Well, it's kind of warm. It's a little moist, but it doesn't really have a texture. And the student would say, I don't believe in such a thing. That's absurd. There's such thing as steam. It has no color and it has no shape. That's ridiculous. And then you put a bowl of rice in front of them, and the steam's rising off of it. Now you've had a personal experience of what this means. Aha, that eureka moment. Now you understand. The descriptions can't do justice to the experience of what is steam. Fitting with that subtle essence energy.